philosophy?
Philosophy. Well, I don't know why I wanted to do it. What makes anybody want to, threaten their life by racing on a motorcycle? I don't know. I climb it. I'll go single-handedly in a boat. I can't think of anything more miserable myself, but something drives us to do this. It was the lack of, I suppose, satisfaction of listening and just absorbing what was played on a record. Wanted to get on board and find out, and then interpret what I heard. That's really what it is. It becomes fun to play, and then when other people start to enjoy what you're doing, then it becomes very enjoyable, I can tell you.
Great Payne Jazz Variations Radio in the U.S. You're one of the earliest guitar players that I've seen utilize tapping technique. Was there an individual, a guitar player, that inspired you to do that, or was that just something you discovered fooling around?
Right. You're talking about the ball of the finger, yeah. Right. I've got a book at home called the Touch System by Ben Webster, and it goes back to about 1946. Oh. So nothing's new. He actually used a lot more subtleties in his application of the way he actually varied the angle of his fingers to bring out the harmonics and play variable chords, multi-chords, as well as just single note flurries of bravado. That he was actually playing chords like a piano player by pressing directly down with the ball of the finger. Fantastic. Never heard him, but it sounded good in print.
Jeff, I'd like to get your thoughts, maybe with the benefit of hindsight, on Blow by Blow and Wired, which were landmark albums in sort of jazz, rock, fusion. How do those albums seem to you after 30 whatever years?
How do they seem?
Yeah, how do they sound to you, and what's your thoughts on their legacy?
It's funny how you look back, it's like an old photo album where you think, oh sorry about the hair, or the trousers, or the but the Jan stuff still stands up head and shoulder, I think, because of Jan Hammer and his European, just his ears, so incredible, and his technique. And I lost George Martin along the way in the quest to try to find a more aggressive spin on the type of music that I was influenced by, which was Mahavishnu Orchestra, John McLaughlin, all those great players. That what I wanted to do was join up with Jan and try to make a slightly more accessible version of that, really. When I say accessible, I mean that I was incapable of doing what John did, So it was a watered down version, but I did have fun doing that. And it gave me a year of great fun with Jan and his band.
Jeff, are you excited that you're going to be in the upcoming version of Guitar Hero 5?
Let's just see how excited I am when the check comes in. No, I think it's great, And what amazes me is that the electric guitar is still so popular. Didn't fall down the black hole of nothing. Could have easily done that.
Thanks to you.
Question, being a music legend, what kind of impact does that have on you personally when you have to come to a live performance?
I don't think about that. I mean, seeing that nonsense up there, I wondered who they were talking about for a minute. But it's very nice at this stage in my life to be, listened to. I don't really know how to add to that. It just puts a hell of a lot of pressure. The Albert Hall of all places. I mean, we could play a dozen gigs around London and not have the same worry about, how it's going to go. But that place, I think what you're saying is that the worry of the prestigious gig still hurts, until it's over with. It's still ever present. Will we do it? Will we won't do it? I could do without it.
When you're playing, there's always that feeling of spur of the moment, the spontaneous playing. I was wondering how much of that is something that you just do because you think of it.
It's it's a form of musical Tourette's, I think. It's involuntary spasm. I think it probably is a form of insanity, to be quite honest. I think, I'm not going to hog the insanity thing. I think most people who play are quite nuts anyway. You become obsessed about sound and positioning, notation and chords, and we just get drawn into it. But I try not to be boring. That's all it is, really. I make terrible mistakes, but when there's a result, there's a result. If it's a great mistake, I put it in there and then expand it.
We're going to go with the last question. Sylvain?
You do two very different things with your hands. You play guitar and you restore vintage cars. Isn't one dangerous for the other?
Yeah, of course it is, yeah.
So?
It's a bit like a tightrope walker, I suppose. If they thought about falling, they'd never do it. I do wear eye protection now. I've had 3 visits to the eye clinic. It's much better to wear the glasses. But yeah, thanks for that. I do ludicrous things. I was under a car once which didn't have jack stands to secure, and the jack leaked, and the car just came down on top of my head. I got out just in time, but thanks for the warning. I'll remember to buy myself.
Jeff, you're also well known for doing collaborations. You worked with Morrissey in his last album. I don't know if you have ever thought of doing something new.
Who was that?
With Morrissey. Morrissey?
Yeah, that was one of those funny evenings where nothing happened, and then I was all of a sudden on 15 other people's albums, just by a couple of Jack Daniels, and a promise. But Morrissey I've always found fascinating, and he's a close friend of Chrissy Hind, who I'm also very close to. And when you're close like that, things happen. The next morning I was down there on the way to the studio. No other reason that I like the guy. I didn't have a clue about the song. But I think plus he's a vegetarian.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.